Today on AC 24/7, the viral social media challenge that may help improve the lives of ALS patients. Plus, 2 arrests are made in the murder of Philadelphia rapper, and we catch up with the stars of the new history-making film Bros. All this and more. Welcome to AC 24/7. I'm Stephen Walker. We begin today with the newly approved therapy for ALS, and it's all thanks to the viral Ice Bucket Challenge. It's called Relivrio, and it's been shown to slow the devastating paralysis caused by ALS, also called Lou Gehrig's disease. A study shown the effectiveness of the medication was funded in part by the money raised from the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge that swept social media in 2014. That study was small and the therapy is still considered experimental. The FDA approved it without a large-scale clinical trial because the drug has been shown to be safe despite questions about its effectiveness. There is an update after Philadelphia rapper PNB Rock was killed in Los Angeles, California in early September. 3 people, including a father and son, have now been charged with the murder of the rapper. A 17-year-old male, along with his father, were apprehended and charged with murder. A 32-year-old woman was also arrested and believed to be involved. The minor has appeared in juvenile court and is set to return in October. A love story for all bros. Billy Eichner is the first out gay man to co-write and star in his own major studio film. The Advocate Channel's Rachel Smith sat down with the stars of Bros to talk all about what this movie means to the community.
Congratulations, first of all, on making Hollywood history. What has the process been like? What was it like? I mean, bringing the first ever, it's hard to believe even saying this.
Yeah, it's
big budget rom-com to the big screen.
About a gay couple, yeah. I mean, honestly, it started with me and Nick Stoller. Nick is a great comedy director. He made Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Neighbors. Judd Apatow, who produced Bros, has made some of the funniest movies ever. Bridesmaids, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Superbad,
Knocked Up.
and
So good.
Knocked Up, Trainwreck. Those guys came to me and they wanted to make a movie like that, but about a gay couple, because we haven't had many of those. And it's always been a really exciting and fun collaboration. Truthfully, we never sat down and said, let's write a historic movie, because that would be weird. We sat down and said, let's write a hilarious movie. And it turned out there are historical statistics attached to it, which is very exciting. But ultimately, we just want to make people laugh a lot.
And you certainly did. What would it have meant, though, to, a young Luke and a young Billy growing up, having a movie like Bros that you could have watched?
Absolutely, and the fact that it's in a multiplex. You know, I'm from the suburbs, and that's where I had access to movies. We didn't have the Film Forum, small independent art houses in London, Ontario, where I'm from. So that's hugely important. It basically says to the world, like, your stories are important, you are important, you can have a life, and it's okay. Don't worry about it. So that's a hugely important thing, and it would blow my mind as a kid. Yeah,
I'm sure it's not lost on you how many young people will see this and see themselves represented for the first time like this.
Yeah, and there's something about, we have gotten a lot of, queer content on streaming, on TV, and that's all wonderful. It's so important. It's changing lives. But I do think there's something special about seeing something on a big screen, and sitting with other people in public and watching it.
Absolutely.
Right? That is something that's very fun. It's very comforting. It's very uplifting. Going to the movies is a communal experience. We don't get many comedies in movie theaters anymore.
No.
About straight people or gay people or anyone. You know, most of the movies we get in theaters are very dark, gritty. They're action movies, they're superhero movies, they're horror movies, and those are all great, but what happened to go into the movies to laugh with hundreds of people in a movie theater?
And also, so much of the queer experience is when we all get together and do things. That's when change happens. When we think about the Stonewall riots, not that I'm comparing our movie to the Stonewall riots.
Please don't.
But it is really about people coming together and saying, here we are. And I think that, is something that can happen in a movie theater, too.
And what I think is so great, too, is this movie is, first and foremost, entertaining.
Exactly.
It is universally appealing and has everything people love about rom-coms. I mean,
Exactly.
even a falling in love montage. I was like, yes, yes.
Yeah.
But it also feels at the same time you're doing a lot of respect and being very honest to this story and making sure it represents correctly.
Yeah, and it's a movie for everyone, you know? It's a very honest movie about this gay couple, but so much of it is so relatable to everyone. We all have these experiences nowadays. If you're single, with dating apps and texting and DMs on Instagram and all the passive-aggressive stuff when you're first meeting someone that you like, we're all dealing with that. And I actually think sometimes straight people like the movie even more than LGBTQ folks because it's not only funny, but it's experiencing a different culture for the first time in a really honest, fun, sexy way. You know, you might think you know, based on sitcoms, what being a gay man is, but you don't really know.
My mom came to the premiere in Toronto, and she had some questions for me afterwards in a very loving way. She's like, that thing you guys were doing in the bedroom. And, you know, she loves me for every aspect of myself. And I was like, well, Mom, those are called poppers. Did I just give away a little bit too much?
Well, maybe, but
Spoiler alert!
Sorry.
Spoiler alert.
Yikes.
But you know, I also, too, not a spoiler alert, because I think you'll see in the trailer, this is the summer of no stunt butts. Because I just talked to Mark Wahlberg. His was real. This is, you guys do all your own butt work.
Oh, yeah.
I
was wondering what you were...
Can I just say?
Thank you. Yeah,
It's a sexy movie.
It is sexy.
You guys look good.
Yeah.
It's fun, you know, and that's part of it, you know.
Terrifying.
And it's surprising to people. Yeah, shooting it's terrifying. But for people to watch it, I think it's part of the fun, you know. It takes a lot to get people to leave their homes these days to watch a movie, so you have to give them something that feels new and exciting and sexy.
By the way, being a contributor for Out and Advocate, we love your cover story, by the way.
Thank you.
And thank you for the love you gave the magazines and the movie, too.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. That's like part of our lives. It's part of our culture.
Yeah.
Although I do have to say, from Vegas, you keep singing like that with that voice. Don't you think he's going to find himself with a Vegas residency
He's going to
soon?
have a sit-down in Vegas.
Not at one of the better hotels. But is Harris still around? I don't know.
Golden Nugget
off-strip.
introduced.
Yeah, exactly. Off strip in a very small room. Maybe, yeah.
And speaking of singers, I think it's hilarious. Have you guys, does Garth Brooks know he's about to become the next gay icon?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I don't know. But there is an homage to Garth Brooks in the film.
Yeah.
His character loves Garth Brooks, which is actually inspired by Luke in real life telling me how much he loved Garth Brooks. And so I wrote that into the movie.
He was so amused by that.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny, you know, I'm a gay guy from New York, so I didn't grow up listening to a lot of country music. So to meet a gay guy who told me he loves country music and loves Garth Brooks, you know, that's not like one of the cliches that you hear about in terms of who gay men like in terms of singers. So I loved that, and we wrote that into the movie. I don't want to give too much away. There is an original country song inspired by Garth Brooks in the movie, which I wrote with Mark Shaman. Mark Shaman did all the music for Bros, and he did the music for When Harry Met Sally and Sister Act and First Wives Club and Sleepless in Seattle.
Hairspray.
Yeah.
With Adam Shankman,
And all those great comedies we all grew up loving, and so the fact that he would do Bros is very cool.
Thank you so much, not only for representing, but also entertaining. Because that's what we all need more of.
Bros features an entirely LGBTQ plus principal cast. Both Billy Eichner and Luke McFarlane are featured on the cover of Out magazine, which you can find on newsstands. Read our exclusive interview with Bill and Luke. The movie is in theatres now. Trevor Noah is ending his 7-year stint as host of The Daily Show. Noah surprised the studio audience during Thursday's taping of the show. Noah followed Jon Stewart as the host of the show and at the time was a fairly unknown talent. The comedian hinted that his decision to leave is rooted in his desire to do more comedy work and travel. There's no timetable for his last show. Thank you for joining us for AC 24/7. For content that advocates for you, go to advocatechannel.com, follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, and subscribe on YouTube. For the Advocate Channel, I'm Stephen Walker.